The biggest show in the country starts now.
And good evening, everybody. Well, a remarkable piece of polling, exclusive piece of polling by LBC, shows there are more Britons who would rather leave the European Union than maintain Northern Ireland as part of the United Kingdom.
My thoughts are, once again, we've got Northern Ireland kicking off, and I, like most Englishmen, I'm sure, have no affinity for these people. I have no empathy for their situation. I see them as little more than a drain on our rapidly diminishing resources. This is a squabble in a medieval province between two groups of people, one of which shouldn't even be there.
But ultimately, David, given the choice, you would choose Brexit over Northern Ireland staying part of the UK.
Absolutely. It's cost us millions, that country.
But it's part of our country, David.
Well, life moves on.
To see who's out there. So if I say Northern Irish identity, what are some of the words or some of the thoughts or questions or ideas that come to mind? Diversity, community, and backstop. Lovely. Let's see if I've got any others. Tenacity. Let me see. It's your accent. Okay, this came up the last time majorly. It's your accent. So I think this will be something that comes into the conversation a little bit later. Thank you so much for being here, guys. We hope it's going to be really interactive and interesting creative conversation. But now I'm going to hand over to Mr. Stevie Dolan from BBC Radio Ulster, who's going to let us know about some very exciting news from Northern Ireland.
Yes, hello Ulster! Hello, welcome to the biggest show in the country, folks. My name is Stevie Dolan, not that I need any introduction, and this is the biggest show in the country, live from Stormont today, as the Assembly meets to discuss the biggest news to hit our wee country since partition. Now, what started out as a little rumour of some kind of oil discovery in the rural Antrim village of Acadui has now been confirmed as a significant find which straddles two adjacent farms in Acadui. Acadui, like, of all places, can you believe it, that wee village only has a handful of people in it? Oh, our wee country's been attracting headlines all over the world as shares in brand Northern Ireland have gone through the roof. Economists are estimating that this oil find could bring billions, you heard it right folks, billions of pounds in investment to our economy. And as world leaders, including Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, make their way to Belfast, we're here as our Assembly will sit for a special session to discuss the way forward. And I think I'm seeing some of our local MLAs have started to arrive. Who have we got with us here? Oh, hello, love. We've got Julie, the MLA for Strangford. What's up, Julie? You going okay there? Give us a wave if you can hear us. Can you hear us, Julie? Give us a wave. There she is. Yeah, you're a bright one, aren't you? And who else have we got with us tonight? There we've got Tom. Tom, the Sinn Féin MLA for Upper Ban. Great day for the country, isn't it, mate? But anyway, I'm actually just starting to see that the Deputy First Minister, Michelle O'Neill, is now live. So we're going to hand over to her to start this emergency meeting of the Assembly. All right there, Michelle.
Well, hello, everybody. Isn't it great to be back in Stormont? Now, you see this oil homeschooling crack? It has been capped. I'm just glad to be back in somewhere where I understand. Now, where are you, Arlene, honey? Arlene, where are you?
Michelle. Jesus, hello, Michelle. I'm sorry, you just caught me in the middle of Joe Wicks there, Michelle. I'm sure we scheduled this meeting for 8 o'clock. No? Hang on a wee second to sort myself out here. Okay. I'm sure we said 8 o'clock, Michelle. Okay. There we are. Sorry, folks. Now that's better. Now, I would like to welcome you all to this extraordinary Zoom meeting called by Michelle and I. Curry my yogurt, Michelle. Now, have you done the anthem yet? Michelle, have you?
Yes, we've done a prayer in English, we've done one in Irish, we have sang God Save the Queen, the Soldier Song, and Danny Boy.
Good. Stop, MLAs there. No, you're not all as daft as you look, are you? Now, here we go. MLA from East London, Derry, pay attention, please. Okay, we would like to recognise the presence of the UK Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, who was on the blower ever so quickly after the discovery of the oil was announced, even though he was in intensive care at the time with the coronavirus. Nice to see you have your priorities right, Mr. Johnson. I would also like to acknowledge the wee rotating Taoiseach himself, who is now in a job share, thanks to Mary Lou. Okay, welcome, lads. I will let you two know when you're allowed to speak. Now, we have limited time today, so Michelle and I have prioritised 3 simple items on the agenda.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, Adam. I thought that was funny, but I thought it was also gave a little message as well. So yeah, thank you for that.
Subject. So it was really great to kind of hear a bit more and understand a little bit more. So thank you guys. It was really, and it was funny as well. I loved it.
Okay, lovely. And we are joined by the fabulous Brona Wah and Brona Lagan. So guys, if you're okay just to unmute yourselves.
Hi everybody.
Hiya.
Well done Wake the Beast team, Adam and the cast. Congratulations, that was amazing.
Thank you very much, thank you. So
give me a lovely laugh.
At this point, we're going to hear from Brona and Brona, but then we'd like to open it up as well and get as many people to contribute as possible.
Because I grew up watching television, only seeing Jim McDonald on the telly, which was not great, and Jimmy Nesbitt, and that was it. So for me, it was a really big moment to have 8 Northern Irish people from all parts of the community that were represented on television 7 nights a week, mainstream television. And since Hollyoaks, I've lived in England, but I am passionate about being from the north of Ireland and passionate about telling everybody how wonderful our wee part of the country is and trying to move forward past what many people know our country for and show them for what we have to offer, because we have a very rich film and television industry now with Game of Thrones and Line of Duty and The Fall and things like that, and just the best people and the best crack in the world. And I'm very passionate about sharing that with the rest of the world.
I'm definitely very proud to be from Northern Ireland, and I'd always actually say, oh, I'm Irish, and then people would ask, where are you from? And I'd say Northern Ireland. But I think that growing up in a small town where it's predominantly Protestant and I was brought up Catholic, and I actually feel it's very hard to not mention religion when you are talking about your identity being from Northern Ireland. Kind of because for me, it was one of the first things I understood in a society way of identity beyond your cellular group.
Well, for me, I'm very passionately proud of being from the north of Ireland, and it's such a unique place in the United Kingdom and the world to be from, and it's something I'm very proud of. It's something that I feel has been met with very different things throughout the years. So certainly when I was little and my mom was a single mom in London trying to find a bed and breakfast to stay in, that was a very different world to what it is now if you're Irish and in London. But yet there is so many worse resonances now for people from other places. And one of the things that I find worrying is that we as Irish people are regardless of what religion or what side you come from, have emigrated to America, to many different parts. And one of the things I find difficult observing is sometimes how people from the north of Ireland or Northern Ireland can then view other people coming to where we are from.
Being from Northern Ireland, there's a lot of different ways you can describe who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that you can say that you're Irish, you can say that you're Northern Irish, you can say whatever, there's like different labels for it. But in England, I feel that, and that's beautiful, that it is fluid and not fixed, and it's such a more open way of people choosing their identity. And actually that is quite the forward thinking, but obviously it's not for those reasons, it's to keep the peace. But I feel in England, I don't know if you're the same, but once you say you're from Northern Ireland, people want to tell you who you are.
Yeah, 100%. They want to pigeonhole you. And actually, I've found real solidarity with friends of mine who are also Northern Irish from many different sides of the community, where we all just kind of clump together in defense of going, no.
Sorry, what you were saying was quite interesting. I got some feedback from someone who was in the last session about how English people perceived someone from Northern Ireland. So I'll just read out this little quote from someone from last week. In terms of how English people perceived me, I would say the vast majority couldn't differentiate between the North and the Republic. The only people who did were the military, and conversations with them were dominated by their war stories, literally, and left me feeling both embarrassed and guilty. I'm really interested to find out from other people. We've got Wales and New York, and we've got England and different places represented here. I'm really interested to hear from people. How did being Northern Irish affect you whenever you left Northern Ireland? Can you tell us some of your experience?
Hi, I'm Grania, and I've been living in New York for the last 35 years, and since I've come here, I feel like I've had to educate people on what's going on in the north, between the north and the south, and between the north and England. And and today it's the Brexit thing. I feel like I have to educate people on what's going on between Ireland and England there. I've lived in England too. I lived in London, and I remember working in this place in London, and there was somebody that worked with me, and she was injured in the Birmingham bomb, and she showed me her injuries and everything as if I was to blame. And I said, that's not me. I'm just here to work. I'm not here to educate you on the troubles in Northern Ireland.
So when I to be honest, and no offense to anyone around my family, but I couldn't wait to leave Northern Ireland. I just couldn't wait to get out. I felt so suppressed in so many ways, and I went to Liverpool. And nobody else in my year at school went to England, to university. Everyone went to Scotland or Dublin or Belfast. So I sort of really felt like I just wanted to see what was going on, what was different, something different. But I went to Liverpool, and from the very beginning, I weirdly felt like a real inferiority. Like I just felt so country and so colloquial, and all of a sudden I definitely felt like I was sort of trying to change my my accent a bit to fit in, but weirdly that sort of wore off fairly quickly, because what I did realize was that actually people were very interested in you, and particularly the Liverpudlians just loved the Irish. So but I think quite I then lived in Australia, and likewise they loved the Irish. So I've never ever I've sort of used, I know this sounds very, very weird, and we were talking about identity last couple of weeks ago here again, but I've always felt being Irish or being Northern Irish has really gone for me, and I've sort of almost celebrated it wherever I've went. So yeah, that's my story really.
Yeah, but can I just ask you, because that was something that came up last week as well, this kind of feeling of inferiority. Two of the Bronas spoke about last week as well, and you used the word suppressed. Can I just kind of tease that out a little bit? What do you think that suppression is? Why did you feel suppressed, or where did that come from?
So I suppose it was very obvious in the town that we were from that we were the minority. And certainly where an entire town is covered in red, white, and blue, pavements, flags, it becomes very obvious, when you're Catholic, that you're not on the right side of the majority. Certainly, I remember very clearly getting on the bus and other people saying you're Fenian this and you're Fenian that, and people throwing eggs at the bus because we were going to Dominican, which was quite a thought of as being quite a posh school. So yeah, I definitely felt there was a heaviness, but I'm pretty sensitive energetically, so I definitely felt like there was a suppressive energy within Northern Ireland at that time.
It sounds like there's the complexity to Northern Irish identity, and that in itself is two different things. Can anybody else speak to that? And anybody else want to bring in their own experiences?
Adam, I have to say, sorry, it's Olivia again. I mean, it's similar to what Gemma was feeling when I first went to college. I came to England because I didn't get the grades to get into Northern Ireland colleges. So I came to England and I was very happy to come over here. But I'm really surprised that Gemma, I mean, you're a good bit younger than me, okay? I'm surprised that, and Joanne, you the same, that you had that experience. I think it's all down to people's emotional intelligence. Whatever you're from or wherever you do, I've had some brilliant experiences, and I now see, coming from Northern Ireland, although I would never, no disrespect to anyone, go back and live there and be there. I'm here in England 35 years, but I have seen being from Northern Ireland as a massive, huge advantage within my friendship groups, within my job. I became a deputy head. Parents coming in saying they wanted to speak to Miss Blacken. She was the only one that understood sort of issues, problems, and so on and so on. And I can remember one time coming home from college, early on, and I was this upstart, I'd moved to England and I came in and thought I knew everything. And I was always asking questions. Why is everybody saying we? Why do they say we? And it was because Aunt Rose said, well, I think because of the Troubles and because of people being a little bit worried about who they were speaking to, they would use we before things. They would say, oh, can I have your wee license? Could I have your wee card there? And I just thought that summed everything up, and I thought it was just perfect. So I am surprised that Gemma and Joanne, you have still had that experience in the 21st century, but I really do think it is down to emotional intelligence of people. I had a little bit of a tricky situation when I was teaching in a school when the Warrington bomb went off, and somebody made some sort of comment in the staff room and everybody went at him, and that guy felt 2 centimeters tall by the time everybody had finished with him, giving him a hard time. So yeah, I don't really know what I've said there, but I've really enjoyed what you've said, and I just see it as a huge advantage now.
Because I feel like being Northern Irish, there's a humility, and there's a warmth, and there's a empathy, because we have come from a country that maybe has seen unrest and has seen difficult times, and I really think that's made us who we are.
From Wales to England, my family would always talk about, well, you live in England, even though it was Wales, and I'd say to my mum, no, I live in Wales, and she'd say it's the same bloody thing, and that was the understanding.
And Rosie?
Yeah, Adam, I lived in Dundee and then I moved to Lancaster. Now, the interesting thing is moving to Dundee, there's a guy there from Dundee. I was there 25 years ago. And I have to say Dundee had a lower self-esteem than anybody in Northern Ireland ever had. So it was actually, I felt like the colonial incomer, because I was getting jobs and Dundonians were saying, what the fuck is she getting jobs for? So there was a weird kind of counter-cultural reaction. And in fact, Dundee was populated in jobs, good jobs, by English and Northern Irish people, and the Dundonians had a real sense of low self-esteem. Now, there's a guy there living there. I've been back there a year ago. The city is transforming itself. It's coming out of a real dark place. It still has the highest incidence of heroin deaths in Scotland. But so from a Northern Ireland person going to Dundee, it was like, wow. I then went to England, and I've never had any bother. But I have to say, I've come back here to live. My husband's English, and I come back here about 8 years ago. And I'm delighted to be in Northern Ireland at this minute in time, because I wouldn't want to be in bloody England at this point in time. The Brexit debate, the pandemic, we have now, at least in Northern Ireland, whether it's not there overtly, but we have a new agenda and we have a new dialogue. And whether it's still being acted to your actresses and actors tonight, even though it's being acted in sort of comedy and satire and irony, we can now discuss the possibilities of an island of Ireland, which we could not have done 25 years ago.
It was like, I could never really express myself, that expression of being Irish in Portrush, and maybe similar to Balmoney. So that was a real sort of, I really enjoyed being able to do that especially when I traveled in different places, and it was, and being Irish, being Northern Irish has always, as been said before as well, has always been real positive for me in loads of different aspects. But when I moved back, the little bit of a sad thing about it was, I remember saying to my mum, nothing's changed. I still feel suppressed. I still feel like I can't express myself as being, and this is 20 years down the line. And that was something that really, it was a real shot to the heart, I guess, for me, because I had rose-tinted glasses after so many years of being away. I thought, well, maybe, things are going to ease off and things are getting better, and they have progressed in so many different ways. But I think there's still loads of work to do, but I still felt the exact same feeling of suppression and experienced loads of incidents which, backed this up, which was horrible for me. And especially then it sort of confirmed my suspicions when I moved back to Dundee. And I again could, just be myself without feeling threatened in any way. So yeah, and that's obviously a negative part, but I'm very, very proud of my Northern Irish and Irish background and all its traditions and all-encompassing traditions that we have, all warts and all. I think, I take a lot of humour in a lot of them as well. But yeah, I find it really interesting to hear other people's experiences. But I think that suppression, I guess, a little bit has affected my ability to call or to feel home is where I grew up.
Your piece has sparked a lot of discussion about what our identity is from a Northern Ireland perspective. And, I think, what I found interesting is it's kind of a dichotomy, is in one hand, we don't know how capable we are. It kind of lets you see that really, how small a speck you are. So in one hand, we need to peddle how capable we are, but on the other hand, we need to understand, how small a place we operate. And then Adam, to answer your question is, if we had all the money in the world, I don't think it would make that hell of beans for about 200 years, because we have to get over our history. And that's something that your piece has sparked this discussion about what our identity really is. So that's kind of my bit.
Pen and paper. On Bernard's new agenda, I'm looking at the future. It was interesting how not so much of the conversation was focused on conflict, around the conflict, which was really interesting. I'm taking a new agenda. I'm taking everything that's kind of been happening over the past, it's 100 years since the formation of the Northern Irish state, whether you like that or whether you don't like that.
Participants.
That's a fact that's happening next year. So I want you to just put like a couple of words or a couple of phrases of your vision of this new Northern Irish identity, or where it's heading or where we're going. So any thoughts or phrases or fragments that come to your mind. And I'm going to ask everybody to hold up so I can take a screenshot of this. I'm just going to give you like 60 seconds for that. Hope and strength, hope and peace, more independence, European, hopefully, equality, unity, community, Northern Ireland. Hold it up a little bit, Anne. Northern Ireland to something. Hold it up again. Northern Ireland to Ireland. Free thinking. Okay, lovely. hold these up. Warm hearts, that's lovely. Hold these up. I'm going to take a screenshot of everybody's because that's just lovely.
I don't really know what to end on. Our question a bit more broad this time, Adam. I think I said to you before the show started tonight, like, this process got me thinking more about Northern Irish politics again, because I've lived in Liverpool for so long, and when I started actually getting into politics, it was mostly about English politics. So now this has really helped me to start paying attention more to what's going on at home. I'm even having conversations with my mum about politics, and she's like, she's surprised to hear what maybe the other side can be like. You know what I mean? So I'll be running for office in a couple of years. I hope I have everyone's votes.
But anyway, I would just like to have a wee private word there with Verona.
Okay.
Can Verona hear me?
Yes, Arlene.
Yes, Verona. Now,
Oh, Jesus.
listen, Verona, I think that you are a fabulous actress. After your wee talk on the night too, we could do with more women like you in the DUP.
Oh,
yes,
Jesus.
we could. Here, Verona, I have a few of them we are hitchhikers left over, and I'm prepared to give you 2 of them if you would give me Jamie Dornan's phone number.
Tell you what, Arlene, I will give you Jamie Dornan's phone number. Thank you to everybody in the House of Commons for voting through the women's reproductive rights through in the House of Commons yesterday. Woo! We finally got the same reproductive rights as the rest of the United Kingdom as of yesterday. If you could also extend that right to
Go ahead, Verona.
I tell you what, I'll help you out with your badges if I send you an email with the list of things I need you to put your name to, okay? Just to put us in the equal line.
Something wrong with the sound here.
Complex, important, proud community. You've got to hold it really close so we can see. Pride. Would you like a cup of tea? Okay, very good. See if there's any other ones. Yeah, unique, happy. Oh, can of beer. Brilliant, John. A picture says 1,000 words. Culture, history, progress, kindness, and pride. And just to finish, we're going to be played out. The actors are going to come on and take a little bit of a bow, and we're going to be played out by Belfast's most famous son, Mr. Van Morrison. So thank you for being part of What's the Crack, and we look forward to unpicking the conversations further. Thank you very much. So the actors are going to take a bit of a...
Hey kids, take the first takes. Ain't that some interpretation? When Sinatra sang against Nelson Riddle's strings, and then takes a vacation, sing some hard
Thank you.